Hey guys, it's Daniel from Angelic Collective, and today I'm bringing you I'm not going to say short. Every time I say short, they run long. So I'm going to say a simple video on how to make your own prayer beads. Now, we're all familiar with prayer beads that we've seen in our lives. Of course, many of us are familiar with the Catholic Rosary. We've seen in the spirit stores and on spiritual things. These are mala beads, traditional Tibetan prayer beads. The set I'll be showing you today is actually very similar to this, except I removed this tassel down bottom in order to put on one of my medallions, but I'll show you that. There are ones that are from other worldly areas. This one is covered in runes and uses, you see like a little Templar cross there and the oak leaf. This is very much a pagan style. Then there's smaller ones. They don't have to be dictated by size or shape. These are much smaller ones. I've seen ones as small as what would fit on your finger as rings. It can be whatever you want it to be, and that is really one of the main points of this video. One of the main points of this video is so that you can make it how it resonates with you, what identifies with you. And in the end, I could go through the history of the beads and what makes a rosary, and what all the little separator beads mean and what they're called, but it doesn't matter. This is your prayer beads to be used by you as a tool for meditation. So, what you're going to need to do this project, and it's kind of important, you need beads, and depending on how you want to make yours, and we'll get into the different styles in a minute, you'll need a few different beads, different size beads, different color beads, and you're going to need some twine. Simple, I have simple cotton twine, what I used for my dream catchers. I also have hemp cord I use for different projects. And for today's purpose, just to see the contrast, I have these little wooden hand-painted beads, and then I got these carved bone beads. These are actually like ox bone or something. Because I use these natural beads when I'm doing my earthworks projects, the hand-woven dream catchers, things like that, to keep it organic and try to keep it more tribal. Not that I care for that word too much. So I'll be using them for contrast today. So a couple of things to consider. Some people who will get a traditional mala set, the 108 bead Tibetan set, will actually twist this twice like this and wear it on their wrist like a bracelet. Now, if you're a normal sized human being, unlike the gigantor that sits in front of you, you might be able to slip that over your wrist. I can't get that past my fingers. But a normal sized person, that would probably go over the wrist. If you desire to make something to wear like that, I would suggest when you look for your twine, try to find something that is a little elastic. You don't want something too super stringy, just a little bit elastic. One of the other keys is you have to pick the beads you want first, because beads will have different size holes in it, and you have to let whatever beads that you pick, if you pick 2 or 3, 4 different beads, the bead with the smallest hole is going to dictate what you can use to string it with. So I'm going to get into a quick demonstration here. I'm making a very small, very simple set, and then we'll talk more about how to use them and why we use them, basically. So when you have your twine, whatever twine you end up with, try to leave the one end still attached to the coil, to the roll, to the spindle, however you purchase your yarn. If you do just have a length of string that's separated, try to stick one end under a paperweight, a candle holder, something that's going to be heavy, and hold it there. Because what you're going to need to get that other end, you can't just tie knots in it because you need it to be straight, so you can feed it through as we finish up at the bottom. So for my purposes, I'm just going to leave this on that spindle there, on the card. I'm actually going to put this big, heavy gate thing on it so it doesn't go nowhere. So I already have a few beads on here, and I'm using as my main beads the little wood ones, and then the white ones are going to be what I'm referring to simply as indicator beads. Now, on a crucifix, or a rosary, and even on some of the traditional 108 bead mala beads, there'll be every so many beads, there'll be a different bead. And that different bead signifies some sort of a change. Either you're changing the prayer you're saying, if you're using it as prayer beads, a different, as I have done, and we'll get into mine, how I made mine, a different set of intentions. So if you choose to incorporate that, you want to lay your beads out, maybe ahead of time, give some thought to it, like I'm going to do 10 beads and then an indicator, and 10 beads and an indicator. The number of beads you have is irrelevant. It's what's going to work for you. I can get through my 108 bead set as I sit and meditate with them in probably 15 minutes. I haven't even been doing them long. But you just come to realize, once you start to get used to how to use them, you understand you don't have to say a 15-minute prayer on every bead. I fire off intentions and statements and a lot of I ams. I am this, I am that. I'll get more into that later. I don't want to get too sidetracked. So begin with your cord. Again, make sure that whatever cord you are using will fit through your holes pretty easily. Now, if you have something like these wood beads, sometimes the holes aren't always punch clear. In fact, the one I have here in my hand is not. So if you're working with a nice sharp pair of scissors, which I recommend you always do anytime you're doing projects, because sharp things won't cut you, dull things will. It sounds ridiculous, but trust me, when something's dull, that's when you cut at weird angles and put a lot of extra pressure, and when you slip, you're hurting yourself. If something is not dull, as my phone goes off, it'll cut with ease, with little force, and typically accidents are less frequent. Take it from me, I'm basically an engineer, and I worked with my best friend's dad most of my life, Big Bill, and he was a nut about safety. And that was one of his sayings I learned early on, and then I came to understand why it's true. So the end of this bead, which you probably can't see on this video, but it's not really punched in, through all the way. So if you happen to use an organic bead and you have those issues, obviously you can just rifle through for more beads, but I like to kind of do this beforehand, so once I get stringing, everything goes simple. You can just take the tip of a very sharp scissor, poke it through, it goes right through, and then gently just rotate it to ream it out. And then blow through it. Now, you can see clear through it. That was blocked up before. Another little tip or trick. This is a cotton twine. And as I use it, every time I push it through, it starts to unwind a little more and a little more. All right, thank you. A little more and a little more. If you take one little tiny drop of super glue and just drop it to the tip and then quickly just take your fingers and so you drop it right on the tip and take your fingers and just do that, or kind of give it a twist as you pull it off, that'll make that stiff, almost like a needle, and it makes it much easier to thread. I'm a little ill-prepared today. My super glue, which is in my kit here that I make my dream catchers with, evidently fell over and leaked out, so I have no super glue. So I'm going to just kind of give it a little lick there to moisten it up to stick it back together and continue to string. So I already have 4 beads on here. I want to do these in a couple of sets of 5 to make this go faster. So, well, just like you'd be stringing any other type of bead or any other project, threading a needle, you're just going to push that through. I'm going to get a fresh cut on this because I've been messing with it the whole time I've been prepping for the video, and it's really unraveling on me, so I'm going to give a fresh cut. Excuse my mouth action there. And you just push it right through and slide the bead down. And as we keep doing that, so now I have 5 beads. I have 5 beads on here now. So now I'm going to put in one of my marker beads, we'll say. So I have the large white carved bone. It just has some ornate carvings on it. So I'm going to put that on next as a marker bead. Okay, now I'll do 5 more. Now I'm going to stop at the 10, 5 a marker bead and 5. So this is going to be a very small set. This might be a set I'll throw in my car and use if I'm at a light, I'm feeling some tension or whatever. Because the nice thing about this, again, there's a difference between meditation and a meditative exercise. There's no difference spiritually, and there's no difference in the effects that you reap from it or the rewards you reap from it. But a meditation, typically you're either closing your eyes or you're being in a state where you're completely silencing yourself. A meditative activity, which could be walking in the garden, gardening, painting, you're active. You're actually, it's an easier way to meditate for people who struggle with meditation, because it gives you an outlet. It gives you, you're moving, you're not trying to struggle to quiet your brain because you're focused. And focus is really one of the keys to meditation. Sorry about that. Trying to get these last couple of beads on here and my string isn't working with me. Should have probably used a hemp cord just for this demonstration. But I figured if I'm going to actually make this little set, I certainly am going to use them. I'm not just going to throw them to the side. So now we are getting through this. Okay, I got to throw one more on here. And I'm going to show you, this is the part that can be kind of tricky. So let's hypothetically say you were doing a set 10 and an indicator bead, 10, indicator 10, and indicator 10, and now we're going to be at that joiner bead. So the joiner bead is where things can get a little tricky. Now, so here we are. I got 5 that what I'm just considering for this, the intents and purposes of this workshop, I'm just calling it an indicator bead, and then the other 5. Now, if you look at any type of prayer bead, okay, this is my 9/11 rosary, the St. Michael rosary. You have this bead right here, which brings them together and then brings you down this way. If you look at the mala beads, it has the same thing. There is the bead in the middle here, that's the joiner bead, and then there's a little cone down bottom, and then you have your tassel. Some stores, you'll be able to find that 3-way bead, where it has the 2 holes coming in and they both turn and go out of the bottom. If you cannot find that, it's perfectly okay. Get a different bead entirely if you want. I actually probably recommend that. Or use one of your joiner beads and then put the bead underneath of that, which is the cone, as a different bead. The choice is yours. You don't have to have indicator beads. You could have 108 or 20 or 60 or 10 of the same exact bead. But so in order to do this in a traditional way, so now you're going to take your 2 ends of the string, and you certainly could trim these down a little bit. I'm leaving them long for my purpose here, just so it's easier to handle. I'm trying to watch the camera and watch what I'm doing and everything at the same time. So you're going to take both ends and bring them together and pass it through the same hole of that bead. And this is, for this particular bead, it's pretty important to have a bead with a pretty large hole. So now you have that effect. You have that joiner bead effect. It's coming up. Okay, so far all we've done is we've threaded on beads, a set amount, an indicator, another set amount, and now we pass both strings through one bead to make that little joiner. Before we finish this project and tie up anything, we want to make sure there's a little play, and we'll go over that at the end here because of how you do your prayer beads. So now we have this. So now, in the end, I could have ended this a couple of ways. I could have put that string straight through that bead, made a little knot, close and tight as I could, trimmed it very tight, maybe a drop of super glue, and left it be a perfect ring. Oftentimes you see the bracelets like that. I want to make this more of a traditional one, so I want that extra bead hanging off, because the way I do them, that's where I start to set my intentions, and then I go around the beads. So this would be an ideal spot now to put, again, even a different bead. Now, because I am slightly ill-prepared, oh, actually, these might work. I only have these couple of beads with me here. No, I have these quartz beads, they're too big. So I'm just going to put a larger one of my wood ones on here, just to kind of finish it off. All right, so now we're all strung up, no matter how you want it to string it. Okay, so we're all strung up. It's looking like prayer beads. I'm going to pull both strings tight at first to get them to where they're tight. Okay, so there's just a mini weird set of prayer beads. For me, that would be a ring. So now you want to tie off the end. But here's where you can start to get creative. Now I have a series of charms here, again, that I use when I make my pendulums, actually. So you know what, here's a hamsa. So I'm going to include this hamsa on the end of this. I have this little hamsa charm. I can never get this thing to focus when I hold something close to it. So basically you're going to thread that hamsa on, or whatever charm you're using, just on one of the two strings. Oop. And again, you don't have to have a charm. So thread it on just one of those two, and then now you're able to take the two strings and tie them off. Before you tie them off, make sure you pull the one string back about one bead length, like that. You see that right there? I got about a bead length. So now you can take these and you can tie them in a classic knot, the over-under knot, or you can take them both together and do one just loop knot, you know. I'm doing this because I tend to have more control on how tight I make it by doing it this way. So I'll do 1 and 2. And then pull it tight, making sure I'm maintaining that little space, that one little space there. So I realize my hands are obstructing most of this, but I'm pretty sure you're getting the gist. Now typically, when I'm doing this type of work, I'd put one little tiny drop of super glue on that knot. It's not necessary, but if you find that your knots are coming apart, no matter how hard you tighten them up, that's what I'm going to do. So now just take your little scissors and right close to that knot, give it a little trim. So now we have this little mini set of prayer beads with the hamsa on the bottom. These are fully usable prayer beads. I can actually put them around my finger and roll them. If I can keep that up on camera. And roll them. You may have actually heard these referred to as counting beads before, because it looks like monks are counting. Monks do them so quick and so fast, they rip through them, boom, 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 but they're actually setting a series of prayers and intentions. But it looks like they're counting. Now, that was a quick, basic, like elementary school example of how to make your own set. Clearly, use your own expression, your own imagination, your own creativity to come up with a set that appeals to you and resonates with you. A couple of considerations when you're putting together prayer beads. How would you like to implement them? I'll give you an example. So I have this set of prayer beads here. Now this was a standard 108 bead mala bead set. My good friend Mandy, who works with Angel Cards, with us here at Angel Cards, her and Eileen do the Pendulum Girls readings. Just as a random gift of love, she brought over this 4-charm set of Archangel charms. Everybody knows I'm a big Archangel fan. So what I did is, this set here, I'll bring this picture back, was very much like this. 108 bead set. You have the bigger bead in the middle, which is the connector bead, the cone under bottom, and I'm sure there's all formal names and assignments for all these beads. I'm not getting into that to this video because I want these to be uniquely yours. And then you have the tassel on the bottom. On this set, I simply removed that tassel and replaced it with the Archangel Michael charm. And as it goes around, these are 108 beads, not counting the cone or that connector bead. So as it goes around, there are 27 beads, and then in between the beads I put the ring, the split ring, to the charm. So we have Archangel Raphael, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Gabriel. The final one there is Gabriel. It's kind of hard to say, and I'm not really doing a good job filming this. It was a last minute thing. I said, you know what, I want to do this for you. So how I have this set up is, the reason you have these indicator beads, I don't want to define too deeply what you should do. The reason these beads are here, whether it's a crucifix or, they are different than what the main beads are. So in this case, I set the intention. The first thing I do is I invoke Archangel Michael. I welcome him in. I invite him in. And I ask him to clear the room and clear the space and protect me during my meditation. And then as I move up, the conical bead will be me. I don't want to use the word invoking. I realize I use that word and it sounds a little creepy for some people. I simply, with the conical bead here, I call on God to hear my intentions and hear my prayers, and to keep me lifted and enlightened for the day. The connector bead, which is the first big bead, use that to set another intention. It varies for me depending on what I'm accomplishing that day, how I'm using them that day. Today when I'm done here, I'm actually going to use them. I came in here to do the beads, and I got the inspiration to do this video. So today when I do this, I'll set these beads, or I'll set that primary intention for this meditation to be about an emotional release that I'm trying to purge, something that's been evidently down in my lower guts for years and years and years and years and years, and it's coming up now, so I'm trying to work through it. So I'll set the intention. The first bead is my invocation bead. That's where I call out to God. I set my intentions. Father, Mother, God, please be with me this day as I pray to you. The second bead will be my intention bead. Because I have these archangel charms, how I have mine set up is this first 27 are all Archangel Michael affirmations or requests. Now, Archangel Michael, who stands for strength and courage and things, and justice and fairness, I will go through these beads pretty quickly. I usually start out with I ams, and then go. If I'm running out of beads, I'll start doing more requests or ask for things where I could be better. So I'll go through these beads. The first series of 27 will be dealing with my strength, confidence, things like that. So I'll be, I am strong, I am powerful, I am a warrior, I am just, I am fair, I am freedom, I am what have you, what have you, what have you. I am is a very powerful form of intentions and affirmations and just calling things into your reality. But I try to keep them, for this set of beads, I try to keep everything to do with strength and courage and honor and everything that Archangel Michael stands for. Now, I'm not praying to Archangel Michael. I'm using Archangel Michael as the inspiration for these series of prayers. So then I'll pass through the next one, which is Gabriel. So the next 27 will now be about my communication, my hearing or seeing or speech, spiritual and normal. So I'll go through those 27. I am a communicator. I am a channel. I am a seer. I am clairvoyant. I am clairaudient. I am clairsentient. I am claircognizant. I am a eloquent speaker. I speak with great enunciation. And even the things that aren't true, you're stating them in order to bring them into your reality, into your environment, your truth. So as I move through those 27, I move up now. I have Uriel. Uriel is the creator, not creator. He is the creative angel. He is a muse to artists and musicians and things of that nature. So I'll use these next 27 beads to express my creativity. And again, whether these things are true or not true, you're saying them to create them into your reality. So I am an artist. I am a musician. I am a writer. I am a composer. I am a painter. I am a singer. I am expressing my truth through my creative outlets. I am writing a book to help mankind. I am so on and so forth. Now, if I run out of IMs, which do happen because I do this in a spur of the moment, and what I don't want to do is get it down to a rehearsed thing. So each time I try to think individually for each bead of something new to say. And if I can't find something new, I'll try to word it different. Because I don't want it to be a rehearsed mantra that I just go through, and it's kind of, for me, lost its genuinity. Nothing wrong with that if that's your practice. If you read them off and you make a set of 10, and your 10 beads, every day you say the same 10 mantras, that is wonderful. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I'm just that way. I like to try. I do a lot of the same ones each time, but then I try to kind of tailor it to where I am right now. So I may say, okay, so now I get down to Raphael, so the next 27 are all healing ones. So, you know, I am completely and continually healed from my gastro issues. I am completely and continually healed from my heart issues. I am completely and continually healed from any brain issues. I am completely and continually healed from any joint issues. I am completely and continually healed from any circulatory issues. You get the gist. But if I get down to where I'm out of beads, that's when I will start, not asking, but I'll set intentions. So I'll say, for instance, I was having some gastro issues recently. I asked that the doctors be given the inspiration and the knowledge and the insight to find out what the problem is and be given the knowledge how to quickly and safely fix it. I asked that the doctors who are dealing with my heart will continue to know the exact medications and the exact amounts to give you that's most appropriate for my health while remaining safe. I asked that the doctors involved treating, I don't know, my itchy foot, whatever, are given the inspiration and knowledge to treat me in the most safe and compatible way with my growing as a physical being on a spiritual journey. And I'll go through and try to finish them up like that. Now, when I get back down to the connector bead and then that cone bead there, I will then close it out by saying, these are the intentions that I have set forth and the affirmations that I have claimed into my worth, into my truth, and into my reality this day. And then I'll end with the conical bead. Thank you, dear Lord Father, our God, Father of all creation, Mother of all beings. Hear my prayers and see them through. And then I'll finish off with Archangel Michael, just saying, Michael, thank you for watching over me. Please clear this space one final time as I exit this meditation. Okay, so that's just an idea. It's a concept of how to do this. You could set yours up any way you see fit. Try to be creative about it. Try to think about, if you wanted those marker beads, what sections would you want to break it? Is it just a number? Okay, I want to set them into sections of 6 beads each, but don't define it. And then every time you meditate, just try to focus on, for those 6, it's going to be this issue today, and these 6 are going to be this issue today, and these 6 will be this issue today. Be creative as you can. Understand, we're only bound by the definitions we set. Right now, these are healing and courage and communication and creativity. Next week, it may be something completely different, and that's the joy of having free will, is we can choose and decide what best serves us at this point in time. Just only other thing I guess I really want to touch base on is, once you've assembled it and it's secure, the last thing you want is for that thing to come flying apart as you're running through them. I'll quickly just show you, if I'm doing this just on the fly, or if I'm doing it as a practice where I'm actually sitting somewhere and I keep it out my side, why you want that space, it's much easier. It is much easier, if I can get the right angle on this, maybe I'll tilt that camera down a little bit. It is much easier if you have that little space there to pull these beads around and get your thumb between them. And that's kind of the counting motion there. Oh, I'm a mess today. So that's kind of the counting motion. So you're actually pulling them and sticking your finger kind of in between them to separate them. And that's how you're counting. Now, this set's a little tight because it was made that way. The more I use it, the looser it gets. But it's that counting motion. It's that pulling them across. You know, if you look at, say, a set of rosaries, they actually have a link between each bead to give you that space, so it's easy for you to grab it and pull it along. And as you're going, what'll happen is, you know, I've seen monks with these almost 4 foot long, and you'll just keep pulling it around and around, one bead at a time, until you get down to one of those, whether the marker beads or that end bead. Okay, now you're there, you're at the connector. So if you start there and you start on one side, as you drag them all the way around, you'll end up back at the other end. That's how you know you're done with the main session. That's why it is important to have at least one marker bead. Because if you at least have one marker bead, you'll know when you've come full circle and have gotten back to where you started, and you can wrap up the meditation, the session, the prayers, intentions, affirmations, whatever they are. Now I'm going to pull this apart real quick here and just show you one other thing. These prayer beads do not, as I showed you that one that looked a little bit from more of a Nordic or possibly a pagan thing, they don't have to be in a circle. I actually have a set that I keep in my car. It is, I think, 15 beads, and it's in a perfectly straight line. And honestly, what it is, when I buy my real stone beads, like the Unikite and the Howlite and turquoise for doing some dream catcher work, they come on heavy fishing string with knots on both ends, usually 2 to a card. I literally had a series of Unikite ones, I think it was 15 beads, on that heavy string with some space on it, that was laying in my car console one day, and I picked them up one day and started thumbing them. And I was like, wow, these make really good prayer beads. So I set the intention that they're now a series of prayer beads. Start with number 1, go to 15, it's done. And if you feel like you need more, you certainly can flip them around and start all over again. So in a situation, I'm not going to get into every tie-ness. I feel like I'm taking a lot of your time here. So if you keep me in a straight line, same thing. You know, you tie them off on both ends. Maybe put some sort of a talisman, a charm or something on either end. And same thing. You're going through them, you're counting them, and then you're done. Now, you saw my examples of the IMs. People like priests and nuns that do a true rosary session, a lot of them are full-on prayers. The Our Father, the Hail Mary. You can make it as involved as you want. If you're a more traditional person of a Christian faith and you want to make a straight set, a round set of 25 beads, and for every main bead do a Our Father, and for every marker bead do a, Psalms 23, set it to be whatever it is that resonates with you, that makes you happy, that makes you feel like you are being of service to yourself and to the universe. And especially for those of you out there, again, I'm repeating myself, but who are struggle to find that quiet meditation useful to you, it's something you can sit, you can have your eyes open, closed, doesn't matter, and you just start going through them, following them. I am gentle, I am kind, I am love, I am the manifestation of the consciousness. I am a channel, I am a messenger, I am a teacher, I am a student, I am a whatever. Please help me today, please help me tomorrow, please send me this, please assist me with that. And before you know it, you've already gone through, but you're focused. And one of the biggest things with meditation is being focused. Not having a distracted mind, being completely in the moment. Tools like prayer beads or tools of any type of artistic expression, painting, when you are in your joy, you're doing something that involves your complete focus, and in that moment nothing else exists, that is meditation. I don't care who says otherwise. That is meditation, and you are benefiting just as much from that as you would be if you were sitting listening to a music of a certain frequency, staring at a candle. I have nothing against that. I do that myself. I usually follow up my prayer bead sessions with at least a half an hour of either 532 megahertz music or 68, whatever it is, 432, or I just listen to my Reiki attuned music and set some more intentions and just meditate, or I do a guided meditation. It all works, and it's really what resonates with you. So I hope I haven't gotten too long-winded and bored you too much. Just a quick idea, and it's probably so easy. You're probably like, well, I could have did that. The point is, this message is that, yes, you can do it, and I would urge you to do it. And in doing that, you're going to have a tool that you can keep with you. You can make 2 or 3 sets. It can be any number you want them to be. You can buy a set and modify it the way I did. I just put these charms on there and it gave me these markers, so I have a clearer guideline of what I want to set those intentions for. And I would really encourage you to do it and make it a part of your daily routine. And you'll find yourself just having an easier time with things. Because in doing that, you are connecting, and through the connection, you are getting the healing information you need to better yourself and be the better you, the best you can be within this existence. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if any of you make a set and you're really proud of it, please feel free to post pictures either to my YouTube comment channel under this video or to the angel card page on Facebook, facebook.com/advanced angel cards. I'd be happy to share them or show them or look at them privately. But good luck, and really think about it, be creative, and really let it be your expression. You don't have to conform to any rules or any guidelines. If you want every bead to be a different size, shape, color, material, knock yourself out. Whatever expresses the true you, the authentic self that you should be expressing already, let this be a step in expressing it even more. Thank you guys. Have a great day, and we'll be seeing you soon from in the studio with Daniel with our Colleen St. Michael's interview. It's finally going to happen. Stay tuned. Thank you guys.